When you're planning a trip abroad, you think about your passport, your ticket, but your social media posts? Well, a pretty major policy shift is now connecting your online life directly to your visa application, and it's creating a whole new digital hurdle. So let's get real for a second. Could your social media history actually stop you from traveling? I mean, think about it. Everything you've posted, liked, or even just shared over the last 5 years. Could that digital trail you've left behind suddenly turn into a wall at the border?
Well, if you're a Nigerian looking to get a U.S. visa, this isn't some what-if scenario anymore. Nope, it's the new reality, and it's baked right into the application process.
Okay, so what does this new hurdle actually look like? What are they asking for? The U.S. government says it's all for enhanced security screening, so let's dive into the specifics.
And this is where it gets wow. The sheer scope is pretty stunning. We're not just talking about your Facebook or your Twitter. On the official DS-160 form, that's the main online application, you now have to list every single social media handle you've used for the last 5 years. Every single one.
And let me be clear, this is not an optional field on a form. It's a serious, strict requirement. The U.S. mission in Nigeria made it crystal clear. If you leave anything out, you could be denied. And not just for this trip, but for future visas too. Suddenly, full digital disclosure is the name of the game.
But, a move like this doesn't just happen without a reaction. It definitely triggered a pretty direct and powerful response from the Nigerian government. Which brings us to their plan for what they're calling reciprocal action.
So what's Nigeria's big response? Well, it's basically a mirror image. The government has said, okay, you want our citizens' social media history? We're going to require the exact same thing from your citizens who want to come here. It's a classic tit for tat.
Now, this might sound like they're just getting back at them, but it's not really an emotional thing. It's actually a classic diplomatic strategy. And to really get what Nigeria is doing, we need to talk about something called the principle of reciprocity.
So what exactly is that? Well, you can think of it as the official diplomatic version of I'll treat you the way you treat me. Or, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. It's a fundamental tool that countries use to make sure their own people are treated fairly when they travel.
And you don't have to take my word for it. The spokesman for Nigeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kemibi Ebienfa, he just laid it out there plain simple. He basically said, look, anything to do with visas is reciprocal. What you make our people do, we're going to make your people do. It's a two-way street.
Okay, so this isn't just tough talk. There's a formal plan already kicking into gear. So what are the actual concrete steps Nigeria is taking to make this whole thing official policy? Well, they're being very structured and deliberate about it. First, all the relevant government agencies are going to get together for a big meeting. Then they'll bring in other key stakeholders to make sure they've thought of everything. And only then will they agree on what they're calling a holistic response. So yeah, this is not a snap decision. This is calculated, serious business.
And who's going to be in that room, you ask? It's a heavy-hitting lineup. You've got the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the diplomacy experts, the Ministry of Interior, they handle immigration, and the National Intelligence Agency, the NIA. When you see those three groups at the table, you know this is being taken seriously at the absolute highest levels.
And all of this really brings us to a huge final thought. This whole situation between the U.S. and Nigeria, it could be more than just a one-off thing. It might just be a preview of where the whole world is heading. As we live more and more of our lives online, you have to wonder, is our entire digital history, every post, every like, becoming the new price we have to pay just to cross a border?